and just give it a good solid kick. A little pressure on the kickstarter and boom, one kick. It should only take one kick if it's tuned properly. So come over here, I want to show you something real quick. So I'm assuming that you got the proper gas and oil mix ratio in the tank already. The first thing I do before I even turn the petcock or gas on is shake the tank. Now I should have done this when I had both of my hands handy, but I just like to make a habit of shaking the tank. I don't know if it does a ton, but I just know that some oils, two-stroke oils, they kind of settle and separate from the gas. So just shaking it just mixes it up a little bit better before it goes down into the carb. So now I can turn on the gas. And then for a cold start, meaning the engine is cold, I haven't started it today. It's air temperature, first start of the day. I haven't started it since last week. I'll turn on the choke. This is the only time I'll turn on the choke. The choke just enriches the fuel mixture because it likes that when it's starting when the engine is cold. Now, a few mistakes people make, like if you're short like me, starting it, they start it on uneven ground. And this makes it harder because it's harder to have leverage on the Kickstarter. So using tips from my episode 1 on how to get on the bike, if you're on uneven ground, it's hard to get a lot of kicking power. Mistake number 2 is only giving half a kick like that. It's probably not going to spin the engine over fast enough or long enough to actually start it. And then the third mistake is just slamming on the kickstart lever, which I hate seeing. You're probably not going to get the same amount of leverage and power to start it. And also, even if you do, you're potentially risking damaging the kickstarter, the gears, the case, and if that breaks, well, you might be in for a huge engine repair. So now the first thing you want to do, or I do, is just slowly turn the engine over, make sure everything feels good, do it a couple of times. On a cold start, I do not touch the throttle. You shouldn't need the throttle at any time unless you flood the engine over. So now bring the Kickstarter all the way back up and then put some pressure on it. And that is when you jump up and kick the lever all the way down with all of your body weight. Now, it may not start the first time. That's pretty normal on a cold start, but it should start within 3 kicks if the carb is tuned properly. So I'll put some pressure on it. There's 1 kick, bring it back up, put some pressure on it. There's 2 kicks, pressure on it. 3 kicks. So I turned the choke off within 20 seconds or so. You don't need to rev up the engine. I got another video on how to properly warm up your 2-stroke. I haven't tuned it for Arizona yet. Now, I know the engine isn't fully warmed up, but I'll still show you what I do for a hot start. And then what to do if it's not starting right away. So a hot start, the engine, assume it's fully warmed up. You've been riding for at least 5-10 minutes and you need to restart it. It's the same thing. You get on the bike. You shouldn't even need to turn the engine over. Don't touch the throttle, or at least you shouldn't have to, and just give it a good solid kick. A little pressure on the Kickstarter and boom, 1 kick. It should only take 1 kick if it's tuned properly. Testing 1, 2, 3. But if the jetting is off, this will typically make it harder to start, whether hot or cold. And if you want to know 6 alarming signs that your dirt bike is running too rich or too lean, I do have a free guide. You can grab that in the description below. Let's say that it starts easier cold with the choke off. So you're starting it for the first time of the day, and after trial and error, you know that it likes the choke off when the engine is cold. That means that the engine is running too rich, meaning it's getting too much fuel. Another sign to know that for sure is when the engine warms up. It's fully warmed up and it's harder to start. It takes 5-10 kicks to kickstart unless you open the throttle a little bit. If you open the throttle a little bit or maybe even all the way and it's easier to start than not having the throttle open, that's another sign that it's running too rich. Generally, it's going to be the pilot jet and air screw that need to be dialed in, which I do have a video here on what the air screw actually does. Because if you're new to carb tuning, 2-strokes, it's probably like, what is that black magic? I have no idea how it works. I don't want to mess with it, but it's really not that complicated. You should check out this video on how it actually works. This is episode number 2 in my 2-stroke beginner series, where I'm teaching you how to properly get on, ride, and just stay safe and have fun on a 2-stroke. So I'm Kelly Fagan from MX Hideout. Stay tuned for episode 3 in this 2-stroke beginner series.